Somewhere in America right now, someone is turning down a raise, not because they don't want the money, because they're afraid of it. They've been told that if they earn a little more, they'll get pushed into a higher tax bracket and end up taking home less than they make today. So they say no. They leave the money on the table. They turn down the overtime. They ask their boss to keep them exactly where they are. And they are defending themselves against a danger that does not exist. This is the tax bracket lie. It might be the single most believed myth in all of personal finance. Your coworkers believe it, your relatives believe it. There's a real chance you believe it right now. And it is quietly costing people money every single year. Here's how the lie works. And here's the truth that almost nobody ever bothers to explain. It starts with the words themselves. Tax bracket. It sounds like a box. Like you get sorted into one slot, that slot has a number stamped on it, and that number is your tax. The 22% bracket, the 24% bracket. As if the government looks at your income, decides which shelf you belong on, and charges you that rate on everything you made. That picture is wrong, but it's so intuitive that most people never think to question it. They hear you're in the 22% bracket, and they quietly translate it into 22% of my money is gone. And from that one small misunderstanding, a much scarier idea grows. Let's make it concrete. Say you're single, and after deductions, you've got about $48,000 of income the IRS can actually tax. Every dollar you've earned this year has been hit at the lowest rates. 10% on the bottom slice, 12% on the rest. Nothing dramatic. Then your boss calls you in and offers you a $5,000 raise. Here's what the lie tells you is about to happen. That raise pushes you over a line. The line where the 12% bracket ends and the 22% bracket begins. And the moment you cross it, the lie says your entire income gets taxed at 22%. Not just the new money, all of it, a whole $53,000. So let's run that math the way the myth tells us to. Before the raise, 12% of $48,000 is about $5,760 in tax. After the raise, 22% of $53,000 is about $11,660 in tax. You earned $5,000 more, and according to the lie, your tax bill just nearly doubled. You're now handing over almost $6,000 additional dollars to take home $5,000. Under that math, the raise didn't make you richer. It made you poorer. You'd have been better off saying no. And this is exactly why people say no. They turn down promotions. They stop picking up extra shifts in December because they swear they'll just lose it all to taxes. They genuinely believe that earning more can leave them with less. There's only one problem. None of that is how taxes work. Not even a little. Here's what actually happens when you cross a bracket. Forget the box. The real system works like a row of buckets. The first bucket is small. It holds the first $11,925 you earn. Every dollar that lands in it is taxed at 10%. That's it. 10 cents on the dollar, not a penny more. Once that bucket is full, the next dollar doesn't reach back and re-tax everything underneath it. It just spills into the second bucket. That one's bigger. It holds your income from about $11,925 you earn up to $48,475. And everything inside it is taxed at 12%. When that bucket fills, the overflow tips into the third one. Income from $48,475 up to about $103,350, taxed at 22%. And it keeps going all the way up, each bucket taxed at its own rate, each one only ever touching the money that actually lands inside it. Those exact lines shift a little every year with inflation, but the structure behind them never changes. That's the whole secret. The rate on a bucket only ever applies to the money sitting in that bucket, never to the buckets below it. So let's go back to your raise. You were sitting at $48,000, right near the top of the 12% bucket. Your boss hands you $5,000. Where does it go? The first $475 finishes filling the 12% bucket, taxed at 12%. The remaining $4,525 spills over the line into the 22% bucket, taxed at 22%. Add it up. About $57 in tax on the first piece, about $995 on the second. Call it $1,000 of tax on a $5,000 raise. You keep nearly $4,000 of it. And your original $48,000, untouched, taxed at exactly the same rates as the day before. Crossing the line did nothing to it.
That's the part the lie completely buries. Moving into a higher bracket does not raise the tax on your whole income. It raises the tax on the new dollars above the line, and only those dollars. Which means a raise can never, ever make you poor. Not at $50,000, not at $500,000. There is no income anywhere in this country where earning one more dollar from your job leaves you with less money than you had before. The next dollar is always worth taking, every single time. But here's where it gets interesting, because there's a second number hiding inside all of this, and it's the number that actually matters.
When someone says, I'm in the 22% bracket, that number has a name. It's your marginal rate. It's the rate on your highest dollar, the next dollar you earn. And it's the number everyone fixates on. But it is not what you actually pay. Think back to the buckets. Your money got spread across several of them. Some taxed at 10%, some at 12%, some at 22%. Your real tax bill is all of those added together. And when you divide that total by everything you made, you get a completely different number. That one's called your effective rate. And that's the truth about your taxes. Watch what happens. Take someone single with $90,000 of taxable income. By the bracket talk, they're in the 22% bracket. And most people would assume they pay 22% of their income in tax. They don't. Run it through the buckets. 10% on the first $11,925, 12% up to $48,475, 22% on the rest. And the total comes out to about $14,700. $14,700 on $90,000 of income. That's not 22%. That's about 16%. Their marginal rate is 22%. Their effective rate, the actual share of their income that leaves their hands, is 16%. And the effective rate is always the lower of the two. Always. For everyone. So the number people are scared of, the bracket number, is the highest rate they touch, not the rate they pay.
The thing they're using to make decisions about raises and overtime and side income isn't even the real cost. It's the ceiling. And the actual bill always comes in underneath it.
Now, think about what this lie really costs.
People decline raises they could have taken. They turn down overtime worth thousands. They throttle a side hustle the moment it starts making too much. And they tell themselves they're being smart, that they're dodging some tax trap waiting on the other side of the line. But the trap was never there. The math was lying to them the entire time. And the price of believing it gets paid in raises never accepted and money never earned. Now, one honest note, because there is a grain of truth buried under this myth, and you deserve to know it. There is one situation where earning a little more can genuinely backfire, but it has nothing to do with tax brackets. It's about certain benefits and credits that phase out as your income climbs. Things like some health insurance subsidies or income-based assistance programs. A few of those have hard cutoffs, where making $1 too much can cost you a benefit worth far more than that dollar. Those are real, and if they apply to your situation, they're worth watching for. But that is a completely different machine from the income tax brackets. The brackets themselves, the 10, the 12, the 22, the 24, never do this. They are built mathematically so that more income coming in always means more money going home. The cliffs people are afraid of live somewhere else entirely, and they're rare. The bracket cliff, the one everybody talks about, simply isn't real.
So here's the truth underneath the lie. The tax system isn't sitting there waiting to punish you for doing well. It's not designed to claw back your raise the second you cross some invisible line. It is designed, deliberately, so that every extra dollar you earn leaves you with more than you had before. The lie was never in the tax code. It was in the language, in one little word, bracket, that tricked people into picturing a box instead of a row of buckets. And from that one bad picture, millions of people built a fear that quietly shrinks their own paychecks. You don't have to be one of them. The next time your boss offers you a raise, take it. The next time there's overtime on the table, pick it up. The next time your side project starts making real money, let it. You will keep most of every new dollar. And from the brackets alone, you will never, ever end up with less than you started with. Somewhere in America right now, someone is turning down a raise because they're afraid of the bracket above them. Now you know there was never anything up there to be afraid of.